Let's bring in Texas Congressman Pete Sessions. He's co-chair of the DOGE caucus. Congressman, I'm fascinated by this idea of these folks with interesting ages. DOGE found one person who scored $41,000 in jobless benefits. This person's date of birth is the year 2154 AD. That means that this person's age is negative 129. Now, I respect the unborn, but this takes it way too far. Are the folks running this program just asleep at the switch? Are they totally incompetent, or do you think they're in on the graft?
Well, I think it's important to note that with all this evidence, which only comes from the administration, meaning that the Social Security office is the one that gets this information, they're able to find out who also processed this. They're able to find out when it first happened, who it was going to, and what the application looked like. And all of these things should be a part of what the Inspector General had been a part of. And while we have seen many reports for many years about the lack of integrity, this amount of money and grievances that are going on is simply spectacular. So we are going to be in the process in Congress. We're going to have hearings with the Inspector General, but we are trying to figure out, most of all, how did this happen? Which agencies, which people, which office, where are they located? And so we will, at the same time, learn. And the great work that DOGE has done is now coming forth. And this comes as a result of President Donald Trump and Elon Musk. I'm so proud of their guts and decision-making to stay after this.
Congressman, with all due respect, hearings, given the urgency of our financial situation as a nation, aren't going to cut it. And Elon Musk is doing the Lord's work, trying to weed out the waste and the abuse and the fraud with the $150 billion in savings so far. But $150 billion is less than the budget deficit last month. That's how much our spending and our borrowing is utterly out of control. And I just want to know what y'all in Congress are going to do about cutting more spending and juicing growth, because what we're hearing is the senators are reticent to even cut the $1.5 trillion over 10 years in the House reconciliation package. And then we're getting wind that there might be a tax hike on the top rate, that's being bandied about, that you're going to raise taxes, even potentially on businesses. It just seems like misguided management coming out of Congress.
It could be true what you say, but I would first say to you, you need to net out the unintended payments. And what we are talking about here are unintended payments. The unintended payments get about $500 billion a year. GAO had those hearings right before my subcommittee, and we established that. So the $500 billion in unintended payments are not included in that money that would be a cut that the Senate or the House wants. So this is a step-by-step process. It is very deliberate. We will need to change laws. We will need to share data and information. And one of those comes from the Pandemic Oversight Board that now has a negative file where the names and addresses and the emails and the cell phone numbers are all put together, and that negative file we're going to start running, which we've not done because there was always people in administration that said, my Social Security information can't be shared. The information for a student loan cannot be shared. We are going to change by law that those can be shared. We're going to run them against a negative file, and positive things are happening this year. And then the cuts will correspondingly come with changes in the law.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Congressman Pete Sessions, for being with us tonight.